We here at Mayhem Media
understand the trials and tribulations of life.
No matter how hard life can get.
Suicide is never the answer.
There's more assistance available today than ever before.
If you or a loved one are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please don't try and take it on alone.
Call or text 988 if you live in the U.S.
Or if you're in Great Britain, call 116123 or text 85258.
The world is a better place with you in it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayhemtainment. I am your host, the Razor Remote of podcasting, the bad guy, JD, and I have a full panel to join me on our first foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, representing the Four Horsemen, with all the flair and the styling and profiling that goes with it, from the Niceguy Andy podcast and the Superfly experience, Superfly Johnny Lee.
What's up? What's up?
And from Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, we have the legend J-Mac, also representing the Four Horsemen. I am from Popcorn and Whiskey, one of my favorite shows on my favorite podcast of all time. And the host, the face that runs the place, Andrew Paletto.
Hello, everybody. Yes, and Popcorn and Whiskey technically is a live stream, not a podcast, but hey.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay. Since it's your favorite, what the heck?
Yeah.
Little leeway there, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Give me a little leeway
it's
there.
The live stream. We break all the rules of live streaming. That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely do. That's why I love your show, because it's a unique show. That's why I love it. All right, and we're going to talk about the MCU in this series. This is the first episode, and we are going to talk about Iron Man and the Hulk, which I don't even have that visual up. That was real smart of me, huh? But Iron Man 1 and the Hulk, the beginning of the cinematic universe. And so who wants to start? I mean, start with Iron Man 1.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I don't have the information for me. Did the Hulk come out before Iron Man 1?
No, Iron Man 1 was the first movie to come out in the MCU.
Well, the original Eric Bana, Eric Bana came out. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Bana did play the Hulk in the 90s, yeah.
The one everybody fell asleep during. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that one, to be honest with you. It was not that it was great, but it at least was like, it felt like it was starting the ball rolling with getting some, modern day superhero movies out there.
I went to see that one, the one in the 90s, at a drive-through in Indianapolis, and I had a date, or drive-in, excuse me, and I had a date, and we both fell asleep during it. So there you go. And nothing really happened at that drive.
Came out in 2000.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Eric Bana, and I'm not a fan of that Hulk movie. So, but yes, the second Hulk movie, or the Hulk in the MCU, that came out after the first Iron Man. So, but the first Iron Man,
Ed Norton.
Yeah, Ed Norton, and we're going to talk about him in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Iron Man 1 was the first one, though. Robert Downey Jr., or if I can say his name right, Robert Tony Stark Downey Jr., because without him, there is no Hulk movie after that. There's no Iron Man 2. It doesn't go to.
There's no MCU, basically.
Yeah. It all hinges with Robert Downey Jr. in that Iron Man movie. If that flops, if that doesn't make any money, there is nothing else.
I have to agree.
And if he doesn't get clean and sober, thank God.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second chance. And the second chance, that was Iron Man was his second chance after he was in rehab and nobody in Hollywood wanted to hire him. Iron Man was his second chance. And we'll talk later on in the series about how he was able to kind of pay that forward a little bit to some of his co-stars. We'll talk about that in one of the future episodes. But Iron Man 1, I think was a great, I think it is arguably the best movie of the MCU. I mean, there's some other ones, of course, once you get to all the superhero names and stuff, you know, once you start having those crossovers and you get all of them, of course, that's everybody's dream, a comic book dream to have. I mean, Endgame is a comic book lover's dream, right? Of course, I'm not going to deny that. But in terms of individual standalone superhero movies, I think Iron Man 1's probably at the top, or if not the top of that list.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I thought I saw it like 6 or 7 weeks after it came out, and I'm the only one in the theater who was watching it at the time. Absolutely loved it, and I have a nephew who's a huge Marvel fan, and I text him right after it because this is when texting, at least for me, texting was first coming available, and I said, "Dude, this is awesome! This is one of the best movies ever." He says, "You mean you haven't seen it yet?" And I said, "No." He said, "You're the only one in the United States that hasn't seen that movie yet."
Yeah, probably because
it was great.
Yeah, it shot off. Johnny Lee, what are your thoughts on it?
I'd have to agree with both of y'all because this movie set the tone for what the MCU could be. Robert Downey Jr. nailed it, knocked it out of the park when he became Tony Stark. To me, when I say Tony Stark now, I think Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, me too. J-Mac, it looks like you have something to say, or maybe you disagree a little bit. So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I agree that it's definitely, I don't know if it's the best of the movies. I definitely agree it's one of the best. And going back to what you were saying, you know, we were talking about Robert Downey Jr. and his redemption story and everything. The glimpses of Robert Downey Jr. being a great actor were there years ago when he done Chaplin and different things like that. You know, you could see that, man, get over this hump and you've got a huge future. And it's so sad that he got started so late, you know, with being clean and sober and being able to do that stuff. But things happen for a reason. There is nobody who could have embodied Tony Stark the way that Robert Downey Jr. did. Now, in saying that, I do like Iron Man 1. But my only critique of it, to play devil's advocate, is I feel like it was a slow movie. But in devil's advocating on that, it had to be slow because it was the start of telling the entire story.
Yes.
So it was like it was a catch-22 with that.
Yes. I would argue that and we'll get to Iron Man 2 and some of the other Iron Mans, but in terms of the all the Iron Mans, I also think it's the best of the Iron Mans too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got Veronica Sloan.
What's up,
Veronica Sloan in the house. So the fourth horseman has decided to tune in. Thank you very much, Veronica. Hit that share button and leave a comment if you're a fan of any of these movies also. For me, I think, Robert Downey Jr. just embodied what Tony Stark, the character of Tony Stark. And I don't know that you could have gotten anybody else to do that. And I think the storytelling, and I agree with you that it was slow, but it was also the first Iron Man movie that we've had. I like a good origin movie. It wasn't like the Hulk. And we're going to talk about that in a second, where we've had multiple movies of that already done, where we've had the origin story over and over again. We've never had an Iron Man movie, at least not a live action one. So I think telling the origin story was a great way to get the MCU started. I also think you needed to do that because the fans were going to eat you alive. Everything hinged on the fans in that movie, and you had to tell the story that they were expecting and that they wanted to get. So, and I think that they really hit that on the head. They wanted, I think every fan wanted an Iron Man origin story. Who was Iron Man? Why is he Iron Man? And I think that gave it to us.
Well, so not only that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, are you three also comic book fans?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm not a comic book fan at all. I don't have comic
That's the point I was getting ready to make, is that if they had done this wrong, these comic book fans would have eaten them alive. Yeah. Non-comic book fans would have never known the difference.
No.
But these comic book fans would have eaten this group alive and it would have been done if they hadn't stuck to the comics.
Yeah. And for rating, I'm going to give the first Iron Man, I'm going to give it the first 5 stars of the universe. Now we're basing this on it's 1 to 5 stars, 5 stars being, obviously the best movie or one of the better movies in the universe. And we're also ranking it not in terms of the entire universe, but as an individual movie, not in terms of relation to other movies, just as an individual movie. So I will give Iron Man 1 a 5 star. Andrew, what are your thoughts and rating on that?
Well, I don't rate things by stars since I'm popcorn and whiskey. I rate it by drinks. So I give it 5 full drinks. Absolutely.
5 full drinks. I love that. Johnny Lee?
I give it 5 stars as well. It did what it had to do.
J-Mac?
I am going to, and I'm going to play devil's advocate, and it's just because of the story building slow again, but I've acknowledged it had to. I'm going to give it 4 headlocks.
4 headlocks. All right. You know what? Yeah, for the next one, we're all just going to come up with our own. Mine will be Jolly Rogers. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And I won't charge you guys for that idea. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Dan's very, very magnanimous in his generosity. There's something else I want to talk about then before we move on, and I'll let anybody else bring up anything they wanted to about Iron Man 1. I want to talk about Terrence Howard as we didn't get to see him as War Machine in the first Iron Man, but he played the character Rhodes, who is War Machine, and I liked Terrence Howard as Rhodes. I thought he did a really good job as Rhodes. I wasn't really happy to see him replaced, and we'll talk about his replacement when we get to Iron Man 2, Don Cheadle, who's a great actor in his own right. But I really liked what Terrence Howard brought for Rhodes.
I honestly, I liked Terrence Howard, and I wished he could have stayed in the role, but I wasn't disappointed with Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle, like you said, he's a great actor, so it didn't hurt my feelings. I mean, and I get it. At least it wasn't Tony Stark getting changed. It wasn't Robert Downey Jr. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's easier to get by with it that way. You know, if something bigger had changed, it'd have changed the whole dynamic. So, I mean, as much as it sucked, because I do like Terrence Howard, I don't think it was like all that, controversial or big of a travesty towards the movie itself.
Yeah, I
don't think it hurt the movie.
Yeah, I don't think it was a big deal, but I was a Terrence Howard fan, and I liked him as Rhodes. Andrew, do you have any thoughts on Colonel Rhodes?
No, I didn't dislike him. I don't think he actually stood out or not stood out. I mean, he was an integral part, of course, but I don't think he was going to win any Oscars for his acting ability in that role. Now, in his defense, that role wasn't meant to be an Oscar-written performance either by anybody.
Yeah.
So what he brought to the table, I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to say, yeah, he was the best person for that part, because it was to me, it was a off the wall part. Same thing with what's her face, the hot chick. What's her name?
Pepper Potts, and we're going to talk about her in just a second too.
Okay.
She's next on the list. Johnny Lee, what are your thoughts on Terrence Howard and being Colonel Rhodes?
I thought that he did an excellent job, and that there was room to grow in the next Iron Man. He didn't even get the chance to do that because they replaced him already.
Well, they didn't replace him. I just want to be clear about that. They didn't replace him. He wanted Robert Downey Jr. money. He wanted starring role money for Iron Man 2.
And he should not have been asking for that money. I mean,
and we're about to talk. We're about to have the same conversation again about the Incredible Hulk as soon as we get into that next. But so let's first go. Let's do 2 characters at a time here. So
can I bring something up though?
Go ahead, K-Mac.
The only thing that I think really, I guess, was better about Terrence Howard was visually. When I look at Terrence Howard, I see more of an action star than I do Don Cheadle. And it's no knock to Don Cheadle. It's just I see Terrence Howard being an action star.
Yeah,
being a little bigger, a little more bulky, and that's honestly and truthfully, that's the biggest thing that I can.
Yeah, but I think that's what I agree with too a little bit. I think Terrence Howard just fit what the role was supposed to look like more than Don Cheadle did. But let's
just put it this way. I watched a movie with Don Cheadle the other day, Colors, from back in 1988. Great movie. But even watching that, him as a gangster, it wasn't selling me.
Yeah.
I see him as a dramatic role actor, not an action actor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about Happy Hogan, who is the driver for Tony Stark, played by who I'm totally drawing a blank on his name. John Favreau.
John Favreau.
Who's also the director of the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And Pepper Potts, played by, I'm totally drawing a blank on her name now.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Hey, hot chick. I know the name. Yeah.
Hey, I think both of them. I think John Favreau. Of course, John Favreau being the director, you knew whatever role he was going to put for himself, he was going to own. So I think Happy Hogan was perfect for him, and I think he does a great job through all of the movies as Happy Hogan. And I love Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. I really wasn't sure who you could put in Pepper Potts' role to bring her to life. She's a little bit of a crucial role, but not a starring role. So, but it would have mattered if you got the wrong person there. And I think Gwyneth Paltrow turned out to be just a spot on for Pepper Potts. So,
now, are you saying that because of the comic book? She portrayed a comic book character?
A little bit.
Comic book pretty good, or what?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but some of these actors that we're going to talk about, I think, have kind of taken what the comic book was and then kind of added their own flavor to it a little bit. And I think she's the first one that did that. She is good with the comic book version, but it's not the same. She has her own flavor on it a little bit. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe unless you know the comics. It's not identical. Okay. It's not identical, but it's close. It's close enough, but she got to put her own little feel on it. And I kind of like the way that she did that. I kind of grew Pepper Potts out of just the secretary role that she was always in the comic books. Andrew, let's start with you. So what do you have to say about Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan, if anything?
Since I'm not a reader of the comic books, I don't know what to compare it to. And I don't think Pepper Potts or Gwyneth really did anything that stood out to me in it. And any top name actress could have been in that role, if you ask me.
You think?
I think so. Now the happy guy, different story. Yeah, he really made that character. He really had it dialed in, especially later on in the movies, which we're not going to get into. But
yeah,
he needed that base for him to progress to the other one. So he really had that dialed in. But Gwyneth Paltrow, any named actress could have been there. Any non-named actress could have been in that role. I think.
Interesting. I think the star name helped him a little bit in Iron Man 1 too. I think having Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts helped a little bit with having a little bit of that star power.
You know what would really helped? If she would have gotten naked.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to do that.
You can't do that when it's a comic book.
J-Mac, what are your thoughts on Pepper Potts?
Yes, you can, Johnny Lee. I've seen Heavy Metal.
That's different. That's R-rated.
Now, I'm going to echo Andrew's sentiments here because as far as Happy, I love John Favreau. I think he done a great job, especially the more throughout the series of not just Iron Man, but the entire MCU series. He developed and, expanded that Happy character. Gwyneth, on the other hand, I'm going to hearken her to Don Cheadle. I just wasn't impressed. I think and I'm going to play devil's advocate. I think they could have got a better looking actress, and I think they could have got somebody more believable in an action star role.
Yeah, but Pepper Potts isn't
as far
as star.
Right, but she became, with putting on the iron suit and everything.
Let's save that for later because that's
right. But I'm just saying, as far as I don't think there was anything to actually build on with her, other than just put her in a suit eventually and take off.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing was Pepper Potts and Tony Stark getting together to have offspring was likely where that was ultimately meant to go. I don't know if Pepper Potts needed to be a superhero, but we're going to save that for the Iron Man 3 discussion when she actually becomes one. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Johnny Lee? Did we talk?
Yep.
Johnny Lee, go ahead.
I think that Happy was a good role for him, but I have to disagree with them. I think that Gwen Paltrow, she was perfect for that role because in the comic books, she wasn't nothing special. She may have been the secretary, but she wasn't doing too much. But then you got Gwyneth comes in, and she has her own spin to this character, and she gave this character life, something that
Yeah.
we didn't see much of inside comic books. I have to say that was the perfect girl to bring in for that role.
I agree with you, Johnny Lee. We're split. We're a split cast on that decision because I agree with Johnny Lee. I think Gwyneth Paltrow did a really great job bringing her to life.
I do think that she did one good job in her role. Pardon me. I think the chemistry between Downey Jr. and her was good to the point to where it really felt like she was keeping Tony Stark grounded.
Yeah, I agree with that too. That they did have great
I'll
chemistry
agree
on
with that
screen.
statement. Yes,
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
They did have good chemistry together. I don't know if you could have got that with another actress, but visually, I could have.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Does anybody have any final points that they want to talk about with Iron Man 1 before?
Well, what about the bad guy?
Obadiah? Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. We absolutely.
I mean, how can you pass up Jeff Bridges, man?
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for Andrew that's why we have him here. He's here to make sure I don't let things just fall through the cracks and stuff. Yeah, Obadiah
You've got to
Stane.
mention them.
Go
I
ahead,
was
Johnny
waiting
Lee.
on him.
Now, the only reason he's memorable to me is because he is the star of my second favorite Western of all time, which we were talking about that before, True Grit, the remake True Grit.
Jeff Bridges is awesome, and I think he's another because that's what I mean when I was saying Iron Man 1. Gwyneth Paltrow, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, they got such a cast together for this movie, and you think, man, how did you get him? And he did such a great job playing Obadiah Stane. And Andrew, since you don't know the comic books very right, he did a very good job at staying what Obadiah Stane is in the comics and the whole look is where he pulled that right out of the comic book. The whole look he has in that movie is right out of the comic book.
Okay.
I love Jeff Bridges, and there is very rarely anything he's ever done that I don't like.
Yeah.
What my favorite movie of his all time is Arlington Road. Great movie if you haven't seen it. Him and Tim Robbins. But that hurt my heart a little bit when he said True Grit, because I grew up in a John Wayne household.
Oh so yeah,
that True Grit was blasphemy in my house.
Oh no.
I'm a fan of
that was complete blasphemy.
I'm a fan of the original version too. Just if we're talking about that, that's where
We'll have to save this fight for another one. There,
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, we will.
Western episode is on the list. Johnny Lee, go ahead.
But can we agree that at that time, Obadiah was the perfect villain?
Oh yeah.
In Iron Man 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was perfect to start it out.
Did great. Yeah, he did fantastic with that role.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, all right. So we're talking about. Go ahead, Jamie.
The good thing in that was I think that's a mistake that a lot of comic book movies make is they come out the gate blasting with the bad guy.
That's true.
And what they don't realize is Tony Stark is just learning how to be Iron Man. So he can't have a bad guy that's too overpowered because he's in his learning phase too in these fights. So to have a mind, like Obadiah, and somebody who was cynical, crazy, whatever, that was the perfect antagonist for that movie because you can always build to a bigger powered super villain throughout the series, which as we've seen they did. Right. But it was a cerebral villain in the first one.
It would have been bad if they did feature an overpowered villain when it was his first time being Iron Man. It probably would have killed the franchise if they did not go with Obadiah first.
Yeah, to play off of that, also, I think that the future villains that both he and the overall universe face later on, I think that they are built up more by who has been defeated on their rise.
Yep.
So I think that plays perfectly off of that. Okay, so that's our discussion for Iron Man 1. Before we move into the Incredible Hulk, we get one of the greatest things that the MCU has ever given us, and that is the post-credits scene.
Okay. Yeah.
Because everybody who watches a Marvel movie now, you are sitting and you are waiting for that post-credits scene. So
I do that with almost every movie now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of movies have started to copy it. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of movies have started to copy it, but they started it at least and hooked people in a way that it's never been done before. So they immediately tease the Incredible Hulk as the next movie in the post-credit scene.
Didn't I see? I don't remember the post-credit scene. I guess I should.
Robert Downey Jr. walks into a bar where the general from the Incredible Hulk is sitting, and he says, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man says, "I hear you have a problem," and the general looks at him and says, "You should talk." And then that's pretty much the whole scene. The general also comments about how he wears such nice suits.
Was it Sam Elliott that was the general?
No. Man, who was that? It definitely wasn't Sam Elliott, but I don't remember.
Wait a second. I thought. Which?
Oh no, you're right. I mixed it up. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's the post-credit scenes for the Hulk. I jumped ahead. The post-credit scene for Iron Man was Sam Jackson being.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Sam Jackson.
Thank you, Andrew. Sorry, I'm trying to do a lot of stuff here. I got a lot of stuff in my head. It's the post-credit scene with Sam Jackson first, where you hear about the Avenger Initiative, which of course hooks every comic book. There was.
Well, if you didn't know anything about comics, you didn't know what that was about anyway. And honestly, I don't think I stuck around for the credits. Maybe I did because I was watching a double feature that day. So I probably had to lay low in one of the theaters I was in, so that I wouldn't get into. But I still remember it.
It was General Ross. That's the character's name, and he was portrayed by William Hurt.
Yeah.
Yes. William Hurt, great actor.
Yeah, so that was the post-credit scene for Iron Man with Sam Jackson. Sorry about that. Sam Jackson was the post-credit scene for Iron Man. Sorry, everybody, got that all messed up.
And that
William Hurt, Aragorn.
I'm sorry, Johnny Lee, you saying?
That's the perfect way of introducing Samuel Jackson and his character.
Yeah, now, does anybody listen? I think Sam Jackson's a perfect choice for Nick Fury. Again, great casting by Marvel. That's one thing we're going to be talking about throughout this whole series is great casting by Marvel, and I think Sam Jackson is an excellent Nick Fury. Did anybody on the panel have a problem with Nick Fury or with Sam Jackson as Nick Fury?
No, he plays the same character in every movie.
He's Nicolas Cage.
Oh no!
Same character in every movie.
No. Do not downgrade Samuel Jackson to Nicolas Cage status.
Yeah, I would have to.
No, I'm just saying the same character in every movie.
Except Sam Jackson's character is cool. Nicolas Cage's is not.
Yes.
Well, it's just like Keanu Reeves, too. Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves in every movie. It's the same thing, cookie cutter.
I've got to disagree with you on that one, but we're getting too far off the
have a conversation about that. That's for sure. That's the whole debate right there. Let me tell you. But anyway. So then we get into the second movie is the Incredible Hulk. Ed Norton.
Hold on, I actually, as far as Nick Fury, I prefer David Hasselhoff, but that's just me.
Oh yes, that would have killed the MCU right there.
Yes, it would.
That would have just driven a dagger, like a great movie, and then David Hasselhoff.
Why do you think it was so many years before they made anything else? Because when Hasselhoff played
dagger, someone taking a dagger and just plunging it into the heart, if that would have been the case.
Hasselhoff played Nick Fury.
Where?
Yes.
And it was a TV series, I believe it was. Yeah, he had the patch on and everything. David Hasselhoff was Nick Fury.
It's funny because Nick Fury started out white inside comic books, but I had no problem with Nick Fury being black.
No,
they pretty much took his character from Marvel's Ultimate and they brought it into the live action as the main Nick Fury, and I liked it.
I didn't have a problem with that either. I didn't have a problem with that either. I did know some people who had a problem. They're like, and I'm not trying to get into a whole race thing here, but
Yeah.
they were like, oh, Nick Fury's white. And my argument to that is, well, no, the ultimate version of Nick Fury is black. It's comic book. It's canon. That's the way it is. So I don't have a problem with Nick Fury being that way at all. And also, if only if it really changes the story of the character would I think that have mattered. You know what I mean? That's Nick Fury. We don't know a whole, even with the comic books, like his backstory, we don't really get a whole backstory of Nick Fury. He's always just Nick Fury. So I think, you even without that, you likely could have still pulled that off.
And that gave us the tease that was to come later down the line.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Nick Fury being Sam Jackson being Nick Fury was just another set off, you knew, and then the Avengers Initiative, you knew where it was going. So then we get to the second movie, we get to the Incredible Hulk. Ed Norton portrays the Hulk in the first one, only for the first one. Again, the same reasons. Terrence Howard didn't want to play War Machine. Ed Norton wanted bigger money to continue playing the Hulk in the series. And the Hulk is just not he's not a main starring cast member. Plus, if he'd have just held out to the Avengers, Robert Downey Jr. would have gotten a pay raise anyway. But Ed Norton, I think Ed Norton did okay. I'm not a huge Ed Norton fan. I think he's a really good actor in some things. And I also think that it seems like personally, seems to be a little bit of a diva. So,
yeah.
I'd have to agree with that. I mean, I think if you've seen I think it's called Primal Fear.
Great movie.
Oh, fantastic movie. He was great. He was awesome in that movie. So being the Hulk, if you compare the two movies acting wise, I mean, the Hulk is almost, I don't want to say sissified, but it's a non-acting role versus the acting ability of Ed Norton. So it's almost, he shouldn't have been picked for that part. Why he was, I don't know, because it definitely wasn't for acting wise.
Name recognition.
Yep.
Having Ed Norton as the Hulk for your second movie, you got Robert Downey Jr. and the whole cast from the Iron Man. Plus, you got Liv Tyler in the Hulk also.
Such a beauty.
And then of course you got Tim Roth playing Abomination. I mean, that's another great cast to follow after Iron Man on paper, at least. If you're looking at that on paper, you're like, yes, that's another home run.
And can we just talk about the Hulk, the actual Hulk itself inside the movie, separate from Eric Banner? I thought that they did a really great job on showing the Hulk's rage. Because if you think about it, ever since after Avengers Infinity War, they pretty much been jobbing out the Hulk. He's non-existent. Eric Banner's just he's just there.
Just like Ed Norton, he only kind of got one. We'll talk about Mark Ruffalo when we get to him later on.
Yep.
But I think what was I don't know what I remember I was gonna say. J-Mac, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm a little bit older, and I'm going to tell on myself here. I remember when I was living in northern Kentucky, and I went to Cincinnati and met Lou Ferrigno. So, while he was on and actively doing the show, The Incredible Hulk.
Me,
yes, Lou Ferrigno's a great guy. And honestly, he became a hero of mine, too, because I found out that he was legally deaf, and I've got a hearing loss. Major hearing loss to where I'm legally deaf. But I got an autograph from him and everything. But growing up watching that show and everything, such a hokey show now and everything. It's hard to watch sometimes. He walks in the water and the paint's coming off of him and stuff. It's terrible. But watching that and seeing the vast difference between Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby, Edward Norton being in, he wasn't a nerdy guy, but he also wasn't a body guy. He was like kind of right there in the middle. Yeah. It just didn't sell to me as a David or Bruce Banner, whichever one they decide to use this week. But, I think that, and Banner, I like Banner, but again, he was a body guy and a good-looking guy. That wasn't Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner was a little bitty puny guy that couldn't beat anybody up. That's why you don't make him angry, because you won't like him when he's angry.
Right.
You know,
it
didn't sell with Norton doing that. I couldn't see Norton delivering that line because Norton was in good enough shape that I feel like he could have, actually scrapped with somebody.
Yeah.
So why would I even try to make you angry when I see you're a little bit of a musclehead?
Exactly.
I also would like to point out that Ed Norton barely wore glasses in that movie.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, there was nothing nerdy about him.
Exactly. Yeah. And he removed the one piece of item that would have added a little nerdiness was his glasses. No offense, Johnny Lee.
That's all right, because Edward Norton was a dumbass for that choice.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about the Hulk, though, is that they brought back Lou Ferrigno.
Exactly, to voice the Hulk. Yeah. Lou Ferrigno did voice the Hulk.
Oh, they did? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. It was Lou Ferrigno that voiced the Hulk in the first Hulk movie.
Oh, that's great.
And do you know
I think that he was also
coming
brought
back?
back for the MCU as well.
Yeah. They're bringing him back. They're actually going to let him. They're going to bring his version of Hulk back as part of the MCU. The
multiverse.
The multiverse. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say, not the MCU.
They're going to have him. Eric Bana's coming back. They're trying to talk Edward Norton into coming back and playing Hulk again.
I think that would be stupid.
That'd be really stupid.
Ed Norton,
because he'll just ask for more money.
This is my argument for Ed Norton for not having Ed Norton, or for not caring about Ed Norton being in it, because Ed Norton and his Hulk is in the Avengers MCU universe that we know. Everybody else, you could argue, is from a different universe, because we know the Marvel always eventually have the multiverse where we're going to get different versions of the same character. So, but I think because he already played a version in the universe we already know, I wouldn't bring him back in.
Exactly,
like the Spider-Man guys.
Yeah, the Spider-Man guys, they all have but they were all different versions of Spider-Man, technically.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to get into some of the Spider-Mans. When we get to the Spider-Man movie, we will be talking about some Spider-Mans. And we also have an episode about the Spider-Verse already available, so go look it up and watch that episode. But back to the Hulk. I like Tim Roth as Abomination. I thought that the build up and the way that they gave him, some injections, and it kind of just changed his what he was capable of doing, and then they gave him more, which turned him into Abomination. I thought that was really good too, and I thought Tim Roth was a great person to pick for the bad guy. Again, someone who is noteworthy and who can play a villain, a different kind of villain than Obadiah Stane too, Johnny Lee, like we were saying. About and Andrew, about the type of villain that Obadiah Stane was, as opposed to what the kind of villain Abomination was. So I think they did a great job picking for that, and I think Tim Roth did a great job.
He sure did.
See, the only thing I remember Tim Roth from was, and I'm assuming he's been more than this, is the role he had in Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
And also there's a television series called Lie to Me.
Yep, I know that one.
Which was great.
Yeah,
those are the only two things I knew Tim Roth from. So I don't know. Did he have other acting credits?
I'm not sure of his full acting.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure of his full thing, but he.
I mean, I liked him as the bad guy. What's his name of the bad guy on the Hulk? I know Tim Roth.
I love him in Rob Roy. Tim Roth did a great job in Rob Roy.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's if you've never seen it, it's a great movie. It's a true story about Scottish royalty and stuff, but it's Liam Neeson and Jessica Lange, I think it is. Tim Roth, great cast, good movie. It came out in '95. But he's been in a lot of movies. He's been in Lie to Me, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Hateful Eight, Incredible Hulk, Rob Roy, Peaky Blinders. Planet of the Apes. Tim Roth's got a pretty extensive movie.
I wonder who he was in Planet of the Apes. All right.
Oh, Planet of the Apes. He played the general of the Apes.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sure did.
Okay.
Wolfman's in the house. We'll give him a shout out. I'm going to take everybody on a little side note because he just brought this up and it was something we didn't talk about in Iron Man. Stan Lee getting cameos in each of the films. I think that is amazing and awesome.
What was
Honestly, I
just
looked at-
I'm trying to think what the cameo was in Iron Man for this one. What was it? What was his cameo?
In the Iron Man, it was oh man, what was it in the Iron Man?
What
the
was
first
Stan
Iron
Lee's
Oh
Man?
well, let's
cameo
not
in
take
Iron
this. All right,
Man 1?
if we don't know it
yeah.
right off the top, let's don't worry about
Right
it.
there,
Yeah.
it's right there on the
But
tip of my
it's
tongue.
hard. Stan Lee's cameo,
Let's see.
everything. It's hard to pinpoint.
I know.
The cameo was
It's hard.
as Tony Stark enters the benefit for the firefighters' family feud. He spots Lee surrounded by several blonde women.
That's it.
If I-
He's just
Okay.
standing there
That's
surrounded by a bunch of girls. Yeah, that was the first cameo.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And but see,
Now,
he's had so
Pippin.
many, and they're so small, but everywhere that it's hard to remember each individual one. Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for the FedEx guy.
That was in Iron Man. No, that was in the when Don Cheadle gets hurt movie, whatever one that was in. He was the FedEx guy in that one.
Yeah. We're not there quite yet, Wolfman.
No, that's a ways away still.
But so yeah, I love
In-
Stan Lee in there, and I thought the Hulk. I'm not a big Hulk fan. I do like that we didn't get an origin story. I do like that they kind of just took care of that over the opening credits, and then we kind of got an independent story.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
And, I'm not a super fan of the Hulk anyway, so I'm going to give this one. I'm going to only give this one 3 stars.
And that's fair.
Andrew,
I might give it 1 drink with ice. That's it.
On the rock.
one watered down drink.
1 drink
It's
on the rock.
Rocky.
Yeah, 1 drink on the rock. Dang.
I'm going to have to keep that at 3 stars as well.
J Mac.
I will also just to let you know, Stan Lee's appearance in the Incredible Hulk was whenever he
drank
he's a hapless citizen drinking blood. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
drank-
hear anybody say about it.
No, but yeah.
It was
he
a
drank
soft
soda.
drink with the blood in it. Yeah,
With
and then he
blood in
gets gamma radiation sickness.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm going to give this one. I don't even know, man. It's hard because I mean, I like Norton in some things, and I
Yeah,
don't.
well, I
So I'm
mean, it's
trying
not
to be
about
fair.
It's not about Norton. It's about the movie itself.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
not about
it's
Norton.
not
It's-
Norton.
And I'm being generous with 3 stars. I just think because
I'll
it's
be
a
honest with
movie-
you. I prefer the Banner movie better, so I'm gonna give this one two headlocks.
See, I would give the Banner 1 2 stars. I give the Norton Hulk 3 stars because it's not an Origins movie. So it's a 2-star movie, but I give it an extra star because it's not an origin. It's not a Hulk origin movie. So that's why I give it the 3rd star.
And I give it 3 stars because they at least got the Hulk right. Tim Roth was a great villain. And Liv Tyler. Can't go wrong with that beauty.
I mean, again, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, Johnny Lee, and I'm gonna take Andrew's point of view with Pepper Potts on the first one. I think Liv Tyler is a forgettable, irrelevant character to the movie, especially since we don't see her because I don't know if it's because Ed Norton doesn't go in or come back, and they don't think it'll work with Mark Ruffalo. But I think she is a complete throwaway character because we never see her again. At least the general is a tertiary character in future movies.
Yeah.
But she is literally
Here's the
done
thing.
after that.
I said she's beautiful. I didn't say her character was great.
Oh, okay.
Her
But
Fair
character
enough.
sucked ass.
But is she done out of necessity because Bruce can't have a relationship with a person, so he had to leave, stay away, and just never see her again and let her get on with her life? Because I mean, I see why the general is important down the road, but if she's not going to get back with him, then who cares what she's doing?
Listen, this is my
Yes.
counter argument to that. If you're going to give me 3 movies with Natalie Portman or 3 movies with Liv
Oh,
Tyler, I will choose 3 movies with Liv Tyler every single day.
I think I'd have to agree with that.
Okay, if you're
Me
going
too.
to
Oh,
give
no,
Natalie
man.
Portman, if you're going to give Natalie
That's
Portman's throwaway character, and now we're getting way off track, but now you brought up something. If we're going to give Natalie Portman's throwaway character 3 fucking movies, then there's no reason not to bring Liv Tyler back unless there's some other reason that you did.
Yep.
The reason is because she is a queen from a galaxy far, far away, and she can do what she wants. She gave
Her
birth
best
to
movie is
twins.
when she was a kid called The
You're right.
Professional.
Yeah, she did good.
Yeah,
in
that
Lord
is
of the
a good
Rings.
movie. That's a really good movie.
The
And she did
professional.
good in the
That's
Lord of the Rings, but
Yes.
let's be honest, she wasn't the be all end all in Lord of the Rings either. So
Who?
anyway, Liv Tyler is one of those throwaway characters. I think.
Oh,
yes.
I think it was completely
Yes.
irrelevant for her to be in there, except to have the love story, which again was, I guess that's just kind of comic books standard operating feature. So, especially since we got so many movies with freaking Natalie Portman. We're pretty much guaranteed. We pretty much a consensus 3 to 2 stars. We were a little split across the Hulk movie. And
I'd say 2.5 stars on average.
And then we were split on the Iron Man movie with 5 and 4 stars on that. So overall, I think this is a great first episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't. If you want to leave a comment real quick, we can say something else.
I got a question for you.
Oh, absolutely. We can also get comments from everybody before they go.
Well, my question is, I'd rather get all the relevant to the show information out. But you mentioned an actor earlier, and I just have a little trivia question for you to see if you know. You mentioned William Hurt.
Yeah.
Did you know that William Hurt played Aragorn?
Aragorn in what?
The Lord of the Rings.
In a flashback scene or in a future scene or something, because it's played by I'm totally drawing a blank on the guys who
Viggo
Mortensen. Yeah, he's one of I like him. He's a good actor.
I love Viggo. Viggo's a good actor. But no, William Hurt played Aragorn, son of Arathorn, in the 1979 Lord of the Rings animated movie.
Well, I don't want to date yourself and myself, but that was before my time.
Oh, I got news for you, man. I've been watching them things since I was 3 years old. I love them.
I was not.
Wake me up when this is over, please.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the animated. I'm not a fan of the animated series. The live actions, yes. I was never really a fan of the animated Hobbits and the Lord of the Rings. No.
Oh, I love them.
The Rohirrim, I see it on HBO Max. So the War of the Rohirrim,
Yep.
They got the whole Lord of the Rings thing. I'm not watching.
I'm
not an animated Lord of the Rings fan. And all right, we're gonna wrap this up before Andrew is actually asleep. So thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment if you we can address it in a future episode, and look for us. We're going to try and do this either every Monday night or every other Monday night. We're going to do these MCU episodes, so stay tuned. J-Mac from Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc. Superfly Johnny Lee from the Superfly Experience and the Niceguy Andy podcast crew, and of course Andrew Paletto from my favorite show, Popcorn and Whiskey.
You got
it. I am your host, JD, and that's the end.
Cheers.
We out.